Supply chain management. Make versus buy. Production units are identified mostly with their decision to make or buy. In other words, do they wish to produce the desired product on their own or do they want to purchase it from the foreign market? This decision is critical because the third-party suppliers, especially in countries like Eastern Europe, China, and other low-cost parts of the world, hold out the promise of essential beneficiaries which the developed nations fail to offer. However, the developed countries can easily overcome the expenses caused in the imported material through activities like human resource, information technology, maintenance, and customer relations. If properly utilized and taken care of, these activities may yield profit rather than leading the nation to suffer more loss. All the expense of outsourcing can be regained through these activities, and thus these should not to be neglected when the options are considered. The make versus buy decision of a nation depends on three pillars. These pillars are business strategy, risk, economic factors. Business strategy. The first pillar in the make versus buy decision is the business strategy adopted by a nation. Business strategy strategically engages the importance of the company whose product or service is being considered for outsourcing, in addition to the process, technologies, or skill needed to design the product or deliver that particular service. These factors should be carefully considered, not just on the basis of current competitive environment but also by anticipating the changing competitive environment in future. So, as a rule, it's advisable to select an in-house skills and abilities when a product or a function plays a very important role in improving the company's performance or is considered a core operation. Perhaps if we consider a time-sensitive product or a product which is prone to consequent design change, third-party producing will likely be a mistake. In simple words, companies must opt for outsourcing in the following scenarios. Remove the processes which are intensive on the balance sheet, capital or labor, minimize the cost, achieve flexibility for adjusting output and come back to changing demand based on management of paperwork, documents, or training, monitor fewer workers, have access to new process or network tools and technologies, leverage external expertise. Risk. The second pillar under the make versus buy strategy is risk involved with any decision. The major risk factors involved in making a product in the home country or purchasing it from foreign countries are quality, reliability, and predictability of outsourced solutions or services. Along with this, there are risks inherent in the process of labeling and selecting the right supplier and structuring a workable ongoing relationship. When we have numerous suppliers, a single failure in the supply chain may not be deadly. Even when the suppliers are making parts of an item instead of the completely furnished item, there will be errors in manufacturing. These errors should be identified before the products are assembled so that the faulty item cannot be delivered to the customer directly. We know outsourcing opens up a broad array of new risks. We need to be attentive of any potential pitfalls with producers and examine outsourcing partners on the basis of their importance to the company. Operations in outsourcing that lead to failure of service could be overwhelming. For example, an IT network, a payroll processing system, or element manufacturing as compared to risks or problems like a glitch in the training program or a long-term product development plan which is much lesser. It is very important to acknowledge the risks that are related to the location of an external supplier. Apart from judging the source country's political stability, companies require to examine the safety and lead times of shipment schedule. Along with this, they have to label and examine potential secondary carriers or routes or search for other producers as a backup in a different area that supplies incremental volume during peaks in demand or disruption of the primary source of supply. When we merge the outsourced manufacturing of products or outsourced process that demand distinct skill or asset, making it difficult or expensive to resource, the supply chain management becomes a highly complex function. In fact, this risk through which a producer may exploit a customer highly reliable relationship by increasing prices or charging better terms, refers as hold up risk can be easily handled with some external solutions. This is very important decision to make. One has to go through all the available options and select the best one of them before making any commitments to the supplier because outsourcing agreement can be difficult to amend or break. Economic factors. The third pillar in the make versus buy strategy is the economic factor residing in the country that needs to decide if to buy a product or make it its own. The various economic factors comprise the effect of outsourcing on capital expenditures, return on invested capital, and return on assets, along with the probable savings gained by outsourcing. To study the importance of pricing mechanism, let's consider those companies that base their decision on if they need to outsource solely on econometric calculation of the in-house as compared to the external costs related to the outsourced function. For example, the cost of each item produced or the price of running an HR department or an IT network instead on the total cost. The net price that need to be taken care of covers the layout for handling to the outsourced supplier exclusively as the outsourced process change. This change proved to be very essential. For example, customizing some software on a third-party information technology network can compute a large surcharge to the outsourcing deal. Tackling the customization in-house within the home country where the IT department can work closely, their work can be easily monitored and more productively with end user to satisfy their demands can be obtained tend to be less costly. Along with this, the home country needs to choose the outsourcing partners very cautiously. In case the outsourcing partners are not selected properly, the companies often attempt to protect themselves from failures or delays by replicating in-house some of the effort that was originally farmed out. This leads to multiple prices for the same project and potential costs are mostly neglected when the outsourcing deal is made. The costs that are often neglected in outsourcing manufacturing operation are as follows. Transportation and handling charge, expanded extended inventories, administrative bills like the supplier management and quality control rates, has complexity and its effect on lane flows, minimal return on invested capital, production dependability, and quality control. Taking all these costs into consideration depending on a one-time code to measure the competitiveness of an external producer is mostly not enough. Enterprises can be saved from this mistake by factoring into the outsourcing equation the economic effects of comparative weak prices, labor productivity, tools and staff utilization, the business of both the labor-based and functional process, the potential for process and product innovation and relative purchasing power. Finally, we can say that for a successful outsourcing relationship, the basic factors include the sharing of savings from productivity progress so that both sides have an inducement to merge. After establishing a sober formal relationship, it is very essential to search for the right balance between fully transparent supplier function and micromanagement or the perception of it. After the outsourcing decisions are made and suppliers have been chosen, it is crucial to be on the same front on a fair and balanced pricing mechanism, productivity progress and cost minimization expectation, and the necessary scale of responsiveness to design, service, or delivery change.